The main goal of mutual fund investment is to create wealth. Mutual funds are cost-effective financial products that help accomplish this purpose by increasing their value over time. Gains from mutual funds, like all other assets, are taxable. The amount of tax you pay on your mutual fund investments is highly dependent on factors such as the type of funds you invest in, the length of your investment, and your income tax bracket. Mutual fund investors usually benefit from their investments through capital appreciation and dividends. In the case of equity funds, the fund house announces dividends when the fund earns money. In the case of mutual funds, a different tax rate is applied to different fund types. This tax rate is determined by the mutual fund's type and holding period. The holding time of a mutual fund scheme refers to how long an investor keeps their money in it. Hey guys, this is Simran from Clear Tax, and today I'll be talking about how different types of mutual funds are taxed. But before we begin, do not forget to press the bell icon and like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. So let's begin. The first one is tax on equity funds. Depending on whether the gain on sale is classified as short-term or long-term capital gains, equity mutual funds are subject to capital gains tax. Both resident and non-resident Indians pay the same capital gains tax rate. Short-term capital gains on the redemption of equity fund units are taxed at a rate of 15%, while long-term capital gains on equities funds up to ₹1 lakh are tax-free. However, long-term capital gains on stock fund redemptions above ₹1 lakh is taxed at a rate of 10% with no indexation benefit. If the cumulative capital gain in a financial year exceeds ₹1 lakh, an LTCG tax of 10% is imposed on equity funds. When making financial plans, keep in mind that your gains are tax-free up to ₹1 lakh. The second one is tax on debt funds. When you sell a debt fund within 3 years, you generate short-term capital gains. These gains are added to your total income and taxed according to your tax bracket. When you redeem your debt fund assets after 3 years, you will realize long-term capital gains. After indexation, these profits are taxed at a rate of 20%. In the case of non-equity funds, long-term is defined as the holding period of 3 years or longer, and a 20% LTCG tax is imposed on such assets with indexation, which means the purchase price is adjusted upwards for inflation when computing capital gains. Profits from investments held for less than 3 years are subject to the short-term capital gain tax, which is the highest income tax bracket for individuals. The third one is tax on hybrid or balanced funds. If a hybrid fund's equity exposure exceeds 65%, the fund is taxed as an equity fund. If not, the provisions for debt fund taxation apply. As a result, you must be aware of the equity exposure before investing in a hybrid fund in order to properly manage your taxes. Moving on to the next one, that is tax on an SIP investment. Unlike lump sum investments which are made all at once, SIP installments are made over a period of time. While we may consider a 1-year SIP to be a single investment, each payment is treated as a new investment for tax purposes. As a result, each installment's holding period is determined. Since they are classified as equity funds for tax reasons because their equity component exceeds 65%, the tax treatment stated for equity funds will also apply to balanced funds and arbitrage funds. In the case of debt funds, however, the SIP will continue to use the FIFO mechanism when selling SIP units. The main distinction is that holdings of less than 3 years are considered short-term capital gains and are taxed at your highest rate. Any holding period of more than 3 years will be considered as long-term capital gains, which will be taxed at a lower rate of 10% or 20% with indexation benefits. Moving on to the next one, that is tax on mutual fund dividend. When it comes to dividends received from equity mutual funds, investors have no tax burden. Dividends, on the other hand, reach investors after a deduction of 11.648% dividend distribution tax, including surcharge and cess, lowering the overall in-hand return. Debt mutual fund distributions are tax-free in the hands of the investor, but dividend disbursements are subject to a 29.12% dividend distribution tax, including cess and surcharge. This effectively lowers the in-hand returns of investors. At the time of unit redemption, a securities transaction tax of 0.001% is imposed on equity-oriented mutual funds. STT is taken from mutual fund returns, so an investor does not have to pay it separately. Well, this was it for today's video. Let us know what you think about the video and comment below if you have any doubts. We will try to reply to it as soon as we can. Stay tuned to our channel for more informative videos like these. Till then, goodbye and take care.